David, I feel like I should be on safari somewhere if I close my eyes and just picture. But just listening to you and looking at you, you remind me of a very young Johnny Clegg. I mean, how did this happen? How did you develop your love for Maskandi music?
Yeah, so I grew up in Impangeni in the heart of Zululand, and basically my interest in the Zulu culture sparked at a very young age when I used to travel around Zululand with my late father, who was a journalist. And so I would follow him around when he'd cover stories and so on. So he'd be at traditional events, he'd be at celebrations, and you know there'd be Maskandi artists there, and there'd be you know, dancers and so on. And so I became fascinated by this. And I decided I needed to know more about these incredible people, AmaZulu. And you know, so I started collecting traditional items and so on. And I basically, you know, I was 7, 8 years old, and I wanted to be a Zulu warrior. And so that interest never died. And you know, it grew from strength to strength. And I started listening to the music, the likes of Phuza Khemisi, Hashile Mhlophe, Mfazo Mnyama, and so on, and it went from there.
Now, I mean, I would imagine it, like you say, you started from an early age, so it probably wasn't very difficult for you to learn this, but you have to entrench yourself in the culture, and it seems that that's what you've done.
Exactly. So I didn't grow up, you know, on a farm, or I mean, I grew up in town, and so you know, I was only really exposed to the really traditional stuff going into Zululand, rural Zululand, with my father. And but back at home, I'd watch TV programs, I'd read books. As I said, I'd listen to the music, and this just, it became part of my life. And you know, it was an incredible. It's been an incredible journey.
So, I mean, you've been given the name, and I'm probably going to butcher it when I say it, but Kadasi. Tongue's not working this morning. Kadasi. What does it mean? I mean, who gave you that name, and what does it mean?
Right, so Kadasi is a really old word for another word for umlungu, or white person. And basically, as a Maskandi artist, one has izibongo zakhe, izibongo, your praise poems and praise names. And so something I say is ngikatasi lidluputhu neklabish. And which is basically I'm the white guy who eats uputsu and cabbage and traditional Zulu foods. And when I met my dear friend and co-musician Maqinga Hadebe, who was also the producer of my first couple of solo albums, he picked this up, and after he picked that up, David Jenkins was no more. Kadasi became my stage name, and that was that. Igama Lense is my Zulu name.
Well, I suppose that Kadasi, when you get on stage and you've traveled abroad, and even here, I suppose it would have started here. When you get on stage and you open your mouth, nobody expects that to come out of you. So, I mean, just a surprise. I'm sure you know, you must be quite amused to just see the reaction from your audiences sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Whether it's here or abroad, you know, we do quite a bit abroad, myself and Maqinga, and we perform at you know, at shows where we've got say a 50% South African expat audience, and the rest are locals from the country, and so it's always great to have that combination. And you know, I'm still trying to grow my name and my brand of music, so it's wherever we go, whether it's locally or abroad, we always get a different response, but always an enthusiastic and an interested response from audience members.
Unbelievable response.
We'll never get tired of that.
All right, well, Kadasi, I'm going to ask you to just play a little bit. I see you've brought your guitar in. Play a little bit so as we end this interview. And before you do that, I want to say thank you in advance. I wish you all the luck. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yiwe nantombi tatazela kangaka uyangithanda yini Yiwe nantombi tatazela kangaka uyangithanda yini I've been waiting for so long for the answer to my ever-fading proposal Please, darling, won't you end these childish games and let's move on to the final level. Yiwe nantombi tatazela kangaka uyangithanda yini Ayisuka la uyangimemezela ayisuka la uyangithanda vele ungiqonde Ayisuka la uyangimemezela ayisuka la uyangithanda vele ungiqonde